Sorry, is this the first edition or second one?
Second one. Yep.
Oh, okay.
We
So
missed
we'll join
last
the
year.
third
So
one.
this is all footage. This is all the footage of the first one. Yep. From our
Oh, I
first
see.
one.
Okay.
Yep.
The only footage that's not here is the footage of the mastermind. Just gotta say.
True, right? That is.
So
That's some exclusive footage, though.
that is.
We need some backflip action going on.
Right?
That's exclusive footage that we're gonna have at the event, Joel. Oh, that footage is epic, though.
Our team loves editing footage like that. Just salt and open wounds. They just really want to go and capture the footage. That's what they want to do.
It looks like we're pretty close, guys.
Right. You got Michael in the dressing room?
We do. Michael
Man.
Unbroken is in the house.
That's it. He's doing he's doing his movements and push-ups and getting all swole for stage time. Is that Chris? You see yourself up there, Chris?
Chris was all over it. He ultimate
Gentlemen.
VIP. He had the special treatment.
What's up, Chris?
Always a pleasure, gentlemen. Always a pleasure.
Man.
All right, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and get started here. We definitely were gonna wait. I'm sure there's more people gonna show up. They usually trickle in for about 10 minutes. You know, you guys are on time. You guys are the people I like. You know, on time, punctual, stuff like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started. First off, you know, thank you guys all for being here. And you know, it's awesome to see people that are willing to, you know, learn from others, experience other people's experiences, and actually show up. You know, ET loves that, the suit up and show up. That's you guys here today. So we have a chat here, and as always, we have it open for all of you guys. So you know, drop in the chat, you know, where you're from, what do you do? There's probably some people in here that could help you out. There's probably some people you could help out, and it's all about connections. So drop it in the chat. I love to see everybody, you know, what they're doing, what they got going on. Obviously we got Matt Smith on the phone here. He's relocating from a Nickelodeon flash tank or something like that. But he's the guy we all know and love. The guy that went from zero to he's coming in hot. He went from 0 to 5.5 million with Grant Cardone. He's also the Snooze Mattress founder and CEO, a franchise that's just growing and evolving every single day across America. As always, Eric Thompson, our president here of Wake Up and Snooze. He was executive coach. You know, he has that background. He spent a lot of years working in schools after tragic events, helping students understand emotional learning and how to overcome and reclaim their power after such events. So he's definitely pretty pumped to talk to Michael. They share a little bit of that in common. Myself, Jacob Rivera, I'm GM, executive director here at Wake Up. I'm the guy that's been putting together these webinars and also having the pleasure to put together the Undercover Billionaire Bootcamp event that's going down in April. That's April 27th. So make sure you mark your calendars. I do got to give a shout out to my guy Gabe Coleman here in the background that helps me out with all this tech stuff that's just so frustrating. So shout out to him. But guys, we got that chat open for you guys, and it's huge. Don't be afraid to communicate through those channels. These are I know that we are somewhat of on spotlight. We're on we're pinned to the chat and all that stuff, but at the end of the day, we have that chat open for you guys for a reason, and it's to get attention and to let people know what you're doing. And it could be very powerful, any way, which way you do that, whether it be in person, whether it be virtually, any platform is a good platform, right? Myself personally, I actually utilize one of these live chats to get my job here at Wake Up. Some of you might know that, some of you might not, but shortly after Grant Cardone left Pueblo, Colorado, I actually jumped onto a live stream with him on Twitter. I don't even use Twitter. Definitely didn't use Twitter back then, but I jumped on a live stream to try to get Grant Cardone's attention, which I was like, hey, I'm from Pueblo. I heard about Wake Up. Like, I love to get involved. I have a marketing background, all this stuff. And of course, he didn't see the chat first. There's thousands of people commenting, right? But I just copy and paste that thing, and I just hit it like 20 times. And sure enough, Grant Cardone noticed it and said, hey, Jacob, what's going on? Like, I'm glad to hear about Wake Up. Go find Matt Smith. Matt will get you a job over there at Wake Up. You got to meet Matt Smith. And within 2 phone calls, I find out who Matt Smith is. And I literally took a chance, left my job that I was at abruptly, and said I got to go meet Matt. So I left, met Matt, and I've been working with him ever since. It's been awesome ride to be on. Be able to meet awesome people like all of you guys, GC, and all these other people in the 10X community. And the one thing I've learned, while working alongside Matt, is that people and connections can take you very far. It was with Grant Cardone's success leaned on people. Matt leans on people, and we have met some amazing people on this journey. So I'm always excited for these events because we're able to meet so many more people. But at the end of the day, we're all here because of Undercover Billionaire, the TV show that we all know and love. And if you're a fan of the Undercover Billionaire show, then you saw GC go through a lot. He had a lot of challenges that he had ahead of him. He had no food, no home, no money, no background, no name, no credibility, nothing.
Stupid.
And he was able to still make a connection. So he met Matt, and they were able to blow this thing up together, So what I'm getting at here is that it's always about connections. It's always about people and how can we connect to help each other, help one another. So stick around until the end because we have the Q&A for questions. And you'll be able to ask anyone here a question. So with that all said, I'm ready to do intro the guy we're all here to see, Michael Unbroken. Man, he's overcame adversity just like GC, like how I was saying. He has an incredible triumph story. He's helped hundreds of people overcome trauma and become the hero of their journey, regardless of what they've been through. He's the creator and the host of the Think Unbroken podcast, and was recently featured as a judge for Grant Cardone's Great American Speak Off. Everybody, I'm honored to bring up Michael Unbroken.
Hello, brother. How are you?
I'm good. I'm glad to have you here.
Same, man. Pumped to be here, man. Pumped to be able to come be of service to you guys and be a part of this 10X community and family, man.
Yeah, so we're super pumped to have you. ET and Matt, we're all here, and ET's really excited about this conversation because you guys kind of share that space, that background, and we're gonna let him lead the way with this one.
What up, Michael? How you doing, man?
And I'm so good, man. It's an honor to be here with you guys today.
Oops, he just got muted.
There you go. I think you might have muted everybody. All good, man. No, dude, I'm good, brother. I'm excited to be here to be of service, to show people possibility, man. And Eric, that's one of the things that that I love about you, brother, I love about this 10X community is like there are so many incredible humans who are just like, I get it. And I think if we can come together and show people what is capable on the other side of community commitment and connection, I mean, it's unlimited what we have the possibility and capability to do.
I love it, man. Is that your new studio in Vegas?
Yeah. So we're building it out right now. It's blank. I threw this together just to hop on this call with you guys today. So
yeah,
it'll be different next time you see it.
Well, I know you're always doing big things, man. It's been fun to watch your journey. What I love about you, dude, and I'll point this out to the audience too, because I know your style. I know you're really about serving and servant leadership, right? But one of the things that was really clear when we first met, we were walking up the stairs and you introduced yourself at Wake Up Pueblo. You'd already been, it was like day 2. And you just came up and kind of quickly just told me a little bit about your story, which was obviously compelling and captivating. But it's much more is caught than taught. And what showed me that you really understand community is you invested first, right? I talk a lot about give and take, and you want to give to people who give. And you know, that's really the people that are going to serve your growth is you're giving to the right people. And if you give to the wrong people, they're going to take. You showed up to our community first to give, right? And you were just in the audience. And I'm sure when you were sitting there, the whole time you're gonna be like, man, I could be on this stage. This is what I do, and I'm gonna crush it. I don't know if you set that intention or not, but here we are a year later, and you're gonna be, you know, you're a big part of what we're putting on. And the reason we brought you in and felt like you're a good fit is not so much of the solutions and the insight that you can provide, but it's the people you attract, right? It's your community, because we want, you know, to your point, when you understand connection, when you understand community, you can just compound that in a way and move much more quickly and grow your impact. And I think that's just to honor you first, man. That's just who you are, and you show it through your actions. And it spoke really loudly about who you are and what you're about.
Yeah, man, I appreciate that. And I'll say this, like we are all given opportunities to connect as human beings every single day of our lives. And if we ignore those opportunities, we will feel alone, we will feel lonely, we will feel like no one gets us. But man, so much of the onus of this journey is on us. Like, this is on your back. This is your job, your responsibility. And do I have those thoughts, Eric? Yeah, of course I do, man. I mean, I'm one of 3 people on planet Earth Grant Cardone's ever actually given money to. And so, you know, you think about this and it's like, man, the possibilities to do something in your life require other human beings. And if you come from a background like I come from, and you go through a tremendous amount of suffering and pain and abuse, and you find yourself being homeless as a child and a drug addict in your teens and not graduating high school and feeling like your back is against the wall because the world hates you, God hates you, nobody cares about you, and you continue to leverage that as you go through the next phases of your life, inevitably you will be playing a victim. And I'll say this, man, because I've done it and I'm the first one to raise my damn hand. Like, no one can take away your victimhood. Nobody. Like, you deserve it. You've had things that have happened to you. It sucks and it's unfair. But at some point you have to come to the realization that people are not bad. And then, dude, this is like, you shift this and your life will be different. And so 13 years ago, I made a decision. I said, I'm going to put myself in a position of being connected to people, especially when it's uncomfortable, especially when it doesn't feel good, especially when I have to step outside of my comfort zone and go to events, go to places, go and sit in rooms. You know, man, at 25 years old, I hit rock bottom. I had no high school diploma. I'm working a Fortune 10 job, a freaking miracle, really, if you look at it. I'm making 150 plus a year. But Eric, man, I'm $50,000 in debt. I'm 150 pounds overweight. I'm chain smoking 2 packs a day, drinking myself to sleep, cheating on my girlfriend. My freaking car gets repoed. My little brother goes, never talk to me again. You're not my brother. And I hit rock bottom because I was always a taker. Because that's what I was taught. You know, we get taught this, and especially as you get in entrepreneurship, if you're a taker, good luck. I promise you, you are not going to have success. And then when you find that it's okay to give, that not everybody wants to hurt you, not everyone wants to take from you, not everyone wants to take advantage of you, you get to put yourself in this position where you start to build community. And you know this is so many people on this call, but if you don't know this, if you actually want to create success in your life, What you know only matters this much. It's minute. It's minuscule in the scheme of things. It's about who you know and who knows you, but more importantly, who you can serve and how they can serve you. People are so terrified of this idea of asking for help. And it's like, bro, I'm telling you right now, I would not be here if I didn't ask for help. And I can track all the dots to this moment of speaking on stage at one of Cardone's events, to me 13 years ago asking Gary Vaynerchuk for help. You know what I mean? And I'm not afraid to ask for help. I'm not afraid because I know that in that vulnerability, I'm going to get support. I'm going to get connection. I'm going to get community. And if you guys are listening to this right now and you're feeling like, man, the business isn't going well, the relationships aren't going well, the friendships aren't going well, I need support. I need to find somebody to support me and bring me up. Like, this event is one of those events that'll change your life. Like, I see Joel in the room right now. I sat across from him and Audrey when we were having dinner at, I think, the second night of the boot camp last year. And I remember sitting across from them being like, those two human beings are a great measurement for a relationship. And if I wouldn't have been in that room, Eric, I don't get to say that. I don't get the community. I don't get to build that up. And so when I come across you in the stairs and I say, hey, man, I saw what you just did on stage. That hit me really hard. Here's my story. If I can ever be of service to you, you let me know. I'll come through. I'll show up. Right. And it was me about giving. It's not me about asking. It's me saying, hey, man, I see that you need this. I need this too. How do we shake hands and walk down this battlefield of life together to be able to go and do something special, something beautiful, something important? And dude, you know, if you think about this, if you go back when you're like 8 years old, I'm going to tell you a quick story. When I was a little kid, I remember one time I was in this Kroger, right? It's a grocery store if you don't have Kroger where you're from. Well, we were dirt freaking poor, man. We didn't have 2 pennies to rub together. We were on WIC. We were on government subsidized housing. We were on food stamps. I mean, bro, we were on everything. And there was this pack of fake play money, right? This pack of fake play money on the wall. It's like $1 or something. We literally don't have $1. And I'm just begging. Can I get this fake money? Can I get this fake money? And my mom is like, no. And I was like, come on, I'll do the dishes. And she's like, no. And I'm like, okay, I'll do the dishes and I'll eat all my broccoli. She's like, no. I was like, okay, I'll do all the dishes. I'll eat all my broccoli. I'll clean the house. I'll get straight A's. I won't do anything wrong. I'll never get in trouble again for the rest of my life. Just buy me this fake money. And she said no. And Eric, that night I stole that money, right? And I remember being like, I'm just going to take what I want. And I realized in that moment, because I got caught, and let me say, when I got caught, I suffered for it, like in a really dark way. But it taught me something really important. It taught me that even though we want something, doesn't mean that now's the right time. And even though we want something, doesn't mean we're in the right place to accept it and have it. And even though we have this thing that we are desiring and we're begging for it, we may not have the people around us to support us in getting the thing. And we think that if we go and take the thing, we'll get it and it'll bring us fulfillment. But in reality, it's the connections, it's the human relationships. It's never the money. Even today, as an entrepreneur, even today, as we're talking about Undercover Billionaire, even though we're talking about building into what's next, bro, it is not the money that will change your life, because trust me, I learned that at 8 years old. What will change your life is being in the room with people who inspire you and make you want to be a better person, who have your back, who I know there are people in this room right now and in this community. I can pick up the phone and I can call them and I can literally ask them for help and face the fear of that vulnerability, and they will help me and they will guide me. And without this community and without events like this, you will not get that. And so if you're on the fence about this and you're struggling in your life and you're like, man, I need support, you have got to come here, because whatever it is that you're seeking, you're not going to find it on your own.
Man, dude, there's so many directions I could go with this, and you and I could hijack this and talk for hours, because I think we're cut from the same cloth. But there's one, Jacob, you can jump in. Obviously, I don't know where Matt's in all of this, so I don't want to exclude him. But there's one point that you hit. I mean, and when I think about you, Michael, I think about the healing that needs to take place to really achieve the life that you want, right? And that's what most people don't understand, right? Like, some people chase the money, but that's just a new addiction, right? Or it's the work, and that's just the distraction, because they don't want to sit in their pain and really like process what's going on. And because healing is some of the hardest shit that we're going to go through. Like, that is one of the most complex, that is our life's work, right? That is truly our life work. How do we feel whole? How do we feel loved intrinsically, and not be, place our value on what's happening around us? But the story that you shared, there's a psychologist up the street in your old home in Denver. His name is Bob Beal. He wrote Why We Do What We Do. And the whole book is based around when you're 8 years old, whatever's going on in your life at 8 years old, that becomes your footprint and your roadmap of what is happening later on. So in your childhood, 8 years old is the most influential year of your life. That's when, if you on the playground only played with boys, then you're probably not going to, you probably as an adult play with boys. If you played with boys and girls on the playground, then you probably have, a more diverse, friend group. So those are very important those are years of imprint, and obviously that moment. And I point that out because I think I want people to understand what you went through, right? You had this, you wanted to create this in your life. You were denied because of family circumstances. You took a different path to achieve it, and that still didn't get you what you wanted. And it happened at that year, and your life's work has really been now healing yourself and then being an active participant in healing others, right? And so especially when it comes to CEOs, entrepreneurs, I mean, I think the journey of an entrepreneur is it's going to force you to heal, or it's going to force you to lean into an addiction. It's going to force you, it's going to reveal you, right? Entrepreneurship absolutely is going to reveal you. And so your work, as this person who activates healing in others and shows people to reclaim their sense of safety and power and own their story, not be a victim of it, I think is super powerful. And I can't thank you enough that you're doing it, but you do it with such grace and love, right? And so I think, yes, you're right. That is really the intention of this event, is to bring people together who, whether they want to heal, that's why I think you're an important component to this, whether they want to, find the strategic connection that can change their life, right? We want to create those opportunities. Whether it's somebody who's curious and hasn't really jumped into this space before, is it safe and how do I navigate, right? Because if you go to a 10X event or some of these bigger events, Gary's event, it is a madhouse, right? And you want to make the most of your time there because there are players in that audience. Well, there's also a skill to work the room, right? And you need to be in some of these smaller rooms. You need to be in more intimate settings, a little more friendly environment, and then you can watch people a little more intimately to see what they do. So what you did to hit the stage this year is you showed up last year, you invested strategically into develop meaningful relationships, you listened, you learned, and then you offered value, right? So I think you're a beautiful, and you didn't need us last year. You were already on. Your trajectory had already been set, right? So, but you saw it as an opportunity, as a launch pad, or is it to amplify all the good that you're doing, right? So I think there's a lot of lessons, not only what you just said, but what you did, that I don't want to skip over.
And so much of it, man, and I firmly believe this. The cornerstone to everything that I have in my life is I show up. And that has been the anchor for a lot of what it is that I've been able to achieve. And if you ask the people who know me intimately, they will always say that dude shows up. But this was something, Eric, that I had to create and I had to develop, because it used to be Michael never shows up. He's never accountable. He's never disciplined. He never follows through. He never does what he says. And that was a lot of the reason why my life was a failure, because I was living into these ideals of what I thought it was to be successful by only putting the work first, by only ever doing the things that I wanted to do because they fulfilled me, and not realizing that being of service to people is actually literally the most fulfilling thing on planet Earth. There's no amount of money you could ever pay me to not do what I do. Right. And so getting in those rooms, it's not necessarily about whether or not I want to. Sometimes it's like I need to be in that room for even just that one thing. And I look at this a lot, Eric. I go, all right, man, I go to a lot of events. I speak at a lot of events. There's a lot of people who listen to my podcast. I mean, we did 1 million downloads. And it's like, why do people consume this content? Why do I consume this content? Why am I coming back again? Well, it's very simple. There's something I don't know. There's one thing, and guys, I'm telling you right now, like if you're like looking for creative changes in your life, if you're looking for support in your life, you're looking for something different, there's something you don't know that someone in this room is going to expose you to. I guarantee it. There is something that you're sitting on that you're missing that is the anchor to everything being different. And if you're not in the room, you're not going to learn it. And in a year from now, you're going to be right back where you are wondering, why aren't things different? And so, Eric, it's not about wanting or needing to be in the room. It's I have to be in the room, and it's non-negotiable.
No, I love that, man. And I always say there's 3 ways to change who you are, right? Proximity to people, proximity to content, or proximity to experience, right? So those 3 things will facilitate change. And absolutely this live event. But I think more importantly, the people in the community want to have similar goals, right? I was at we just signed one of my daughters up for drama, and it's kind of her second foray, but this is a big production that she's in. We're doing a parents meeting, and they're talking about, hey, 26 hours of volunteer time, which I'm like, oh my gosh, right? But I'm sitting there and listening to that moment. And the one thing they said is, hey, don't overlook the fact that everybody in this room right now, you have one very important thing in common. Your kids have a shared interest, right? And that's what's bringing us together. And the power of just having one thing in common is so important in this diversive world that we live in. We're almost trained to think, what's different? What can we argue about? How can I put a stake in the sand and say you're on that side and I'm on this side? More so, it's about, hey, how can we find commonality? And the people who can find that that's the cheat code, right? How can I be in a room with shared interest, shared common, purpose in life, or shared common interest in life? And then how can I allow that to build some momentum in other areas of my life? And I think that's what you've done so well when you show up, because you're selective of the rooms you go into, right? I mean, we can't be everywhere all the time, no matter how bad we want to be omnipresent. But the idea of, can I be in the right environment that's going to propel me and create momentum versus stifle me? And I think that's sometimes what can be overlooked too, right? So, and I think if I'm guessing, just knowing your journey, my guess is you're probably really good calling out bullshit and seeing that, right? Because that's the world that you got so good and you knew how to you knew how to be on the other side of that influence, right? You can be influential and give, or you can be influential and take. And you know the rooms where we're takers, and you know the rooms that are givers. And no doubt you recognize the really special community we've been able to build at Wake Up and, tie into and coexist alongside of 10X.
Yeah, 100, dude, I'll tell you this, man. I've been on a lot of stages. I've been in a lot of rooms. I've been invited to a lot of events that I've spoken at. I've been a guest at a lot of events. And a lot of people, like, I'm just going to call it what it is, man. There's a lot of fake people in my industry, man. As a coach, as a mentor, as someone in personal development, there's a lot of people who talk a big game, but they ain't never done shit. And that's not this room. You know what I mean? I mean, like, if I cut it dry and simple, I don't put my name on any, like, real talk. I don't put nothing on my name that I don't believe in. 100%. Yeah. And so to be able to come back into this room again and know that there are incredible human beings who care about your better interest, who care about your success, who care about your obligation and duty to creating the life that you want to have, who see the possibility in you, even when you don't, right? Like, that is what it's about, man. And I can pick up the phone right now and I can call most of the speakers who you're having at this event because of this community and know that they have my back. And know that vice versa, man. And here's a word that I don't think is used enough in entrepreneurship. One that sits with me. It's my love language of entrepreneurship, and it's reciprocation. And I don't think people really understand how much we want to give back what we are given, and vice versa. And being in this room, one of the things that's really incredible is, as much as we want to give and help, we are being helped and being given to. And that's one of the reasons why you've been able to create such an amazing community. Dude, entrepreneurship sucks. Like, really, it does. Like, it's incredibly difficult. I'm going on 13 years, right? There are hard days. There are days where you're like, how am I going to make payroll? There's days where I'm like, man, am I going to be able to afford this trip? Can I buy the ticket to that event? Can I even keep the lights on this month, right? There's all these things that we go through as entrepreneurs and business owners in which you need support. Like going down this path alone is seemingly impossible. I don't know a single successful entrepreneur who has not built a team, who has not built a community, who has not built friends. I mean, you cannot name a person who has done this on their own. They don't exist. And I think that many people who especially are entrepreneurs and business owners and they're trying to build into this life that they want to create, they think that it's weak to ask for help. They think that it's weak to raise their hand and go, hey man, I have a question. And in reality, like, I'm gonna just call it what it is. It's weak not to. You are a coward not to show up into the room. You're weak not to say, I need assistance. And man, when you come into a room like this, that's what you get. When I was young, I felt like the world was against me, Eric. I mean, I remember one time I'm 8 years old. Going back to that age is a very formative year for me. And the water company had come and turned our water off, right? Think about that. I grew up in America. I grew up in the United States. We were so poor. We were so impoverished. They turned the water off, right? And so my mom tells me, she goes, go in the backyard, grab that bucket from the sandbox, and go across the street to the neighbor's house and get some water from them. And she told me, don't knock on the door. And so for the first time in my life, 8 years old, I'm walking across the street this blistering hot Indiana summer day. I turn on the spigot on the side of our neighbor's house and I stole water because my mom was so scared to have me knock on that door and say, I need help today. And that started this really terrible downward spiral, right? I mean, you can imagine the embedding that happens in that. And for a long time, it was like, man, it's weak to ask for help. You're soft. You're a coward to ask for help. And I came to realize that you must. And when you do, it is human nature, Eric. If I come across the street and I ask you for a cup of milk, bro, you're going to give me a cup of milk, 100%. And then when you come over in a week and you go, man, you got 4 eggs. We've got to make this cake for the kid. Of course I got, here, have 5.
Right.
That's how we are as human beings. And when you come into rooms like this, you will find human beings who are in that alignment, who they want to see you succeed. And that's the most important thing, man, because there were people in my life, they did not want to see me succeed. Dude, even today, there are still people who don't want to see me succeed. I'm like, all right, watch me, see what happens. But right. You know, the truth about it is, man, putting yourself in a position to be successful always begins with putting yourself in a position to be successful.
Yeah, no, I love it. And the word that you keep coming back to, and vulnerability, and obviously I'm a huge fan of Brene Brown and her work for over the years. And I think that she's made that word really accessible, especially to men. And for a lot of times men, that's not in our nature, right? Or we haven't, so it is in our nature. Society hasn't supported that, right? But I think that I also want to transition, because you've talked a lot about giving, you've talked a lot about being vulnerable, you've talked about asking questions. So I want to open it up, because I know we have people here that have curiosity, that maybe they feel stuck, or maybe they feel like they need some guidance. And so I just want to, Jacob, keep your eye out, because I want to open it up for questions. And as I do that, as people raise their hands, the question I have for you, Michael, is give me 2 or 3 things that you're going to drop from the stage that's going to push somebody further along the road, that's going to activate their success or activate their healing.
Yeah. Look, in this short period of time, it's going to be difficult to go into depth, but I'll give you the high level. We're going to talk about how you actually change your mindset. Like, people don't understand there's a formula to this. You know what I mean? Like, people are like mindset, and it's not that simple. There is a formula. There's a calculation to being able to actually effectively change your mindset. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the power of words. We're going to talk about how to actually build successful businesses through action taking. Right. And that's just some of it. I mean, the biggest thing that when I step on any stage, the most important thing that I want to show people in not only my story and my storytelling, but is like, here are the practical tools. You're going to walk away from this with actual tools, not just ideas, not just ideations, but actual things that you can go and implement into your life and your business right now to start creating success.
I love it, man. I love it. Jacob, jump in here. You got any questions, or we got any in the chat?
Yeah,
hey, I'm here really quick. I got a really quick thing. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can.
Michael,
What's up,
I
Matt?
love you, man.
My guy.
So I'm here in Cancun. Sorry, I didn't have a lot of time, but I'm like just getting blown away by the two of you guys, two of my favorite humans, like bringing the heat right now. So I just got to say, Michael, I was on the last podcast in Denver. Now you set it up for the first one in Vegas. There's something to that, I got to say. And it's not just getting in the room. It's getting in the room at 10X and jumping on the other guy's back like I did the first time I saw you
How'd you get
last
mad
week
up there?
or a couple weeks ago. I'm just saying. But Michael, you brought like 2 weeks ago, he was on my podcast. I was on his podcast. And the amount that I learned from Michael, and can you hear me?
Yeah.
Jacob, you look like you can't hear me.
We got you.
Okay. The amount that I learned from Michael, we could have probably talked for like 7 hours, I think, if not more, but we kept stopping ourselves. But this man understands childhood trauma. You didn't even hear some of the stuff. He has got his pinky cut off by somebody in his own family. He was raised by a racist grandma. Like the amount of stuff that this beautiful soul has now created and turned into finding people's childhood trauma. And everybody's got it. We all do what we do. Like Eric just said, at 8 years old, we all do what we do because somebody didn't say, hey, you can do this. Or somebody said, you're dumb and you can't do this. Or you're not going to be an athlete. Or you're the shy kid, or whatever it may be. We all have some kind of childhood trauma that should have laid us up or down. And I got to say, Michael, you are the best in the world at what you do. And just the time that I spent with you, you are going to change the world. And we're honored to have you here. And to your point, man, you show up in Denver. You're going to Vegas. You're flying back in for this. It's an honor to have you here, man. There's no doubt in my mind in the 2 or 3 hours, I don't know how long I spent with you. You changed my life incredibly. I can't wait for these podcasts to launch, but no doubt you're going to be changing a lot of life in these rooms here today, or at the UBB next month, man. So thank you. I'm in Cancun at Nickelodeon World with the kiddos, so I had to come on and say, I love you, man. I knew he was bringing the heat. I love that guy, but I'll see you next month. If there's anything else you have for me, let me know. These kids they're crazy going on a lot of red drinks and sugar here.
Appreciate you, brother. Have fun, man.
I love you guys, man. You guys have fun, and I'll see you in a couple weeks. I want to be listening if you need anything, though. Thanks for being here. Thanks for showing up, man.
Cool.
Hey, Michael, I got a quick question for you myself.
Sure.
A little somewhat off topic, but I wanted to know a little bit more about your experience with Grant's 10X stages and the Great American Speak Off. Tell us a little bit about that and how that happened.
So here's what happened. I was funnel hacking Grant, right? So I'm an author first. Like before anything, I'm a writer. I'd spent years writing a blog that nobody read, of course. And I'd written my first book, and we had been able to push it pretty hard in a couple of Amazon categories, hit #1 a couple of times. And I was like, man, there's something I'm missing here. And one day I just see this ad. I literally have never heard the name Grant Cardone in my life, right? And I saw this ad, and I'm just buying every book that I see on Facebook for like a month. And I'm just going in their funnels, getting in their newsletters, tracking what they do. And the book comes in the mail, and it's sitting on my desk. And I'm like, read this book. I don't know. There was something about it that was like, it was calling to me. It was like, read this.
Was that the 10X rule?
This was the 10X rule. And so that night, I grab it. I'm laying in bed. I'm reading it. I fall asleep reading it. I wake up the next day. I'm like, I got a busy day. Is there an audio? I grab the audio. I listen. I go, I've never heard anyone think about the world the way that I think about the world. And I was hooked, and I was like, okay, cool. What does this guy do? Like, does he coach people? Does he write other books? I have no idea who Grant Cardone is. And so I start researching, and GrowthCon 2020 is like 7 days away. And I'm like, okay, bet I'm going to go and do this. 2021. And so I buy literally, because this is like in the midst of COVID, everything's crazy. I buy the most expensive plane ticket I've ever bought in my life to go from freaking, I was in Portland to Miami, and I get there, and I'm everyone is like wearing t-shirts that say, don't be a little bitch. And I'm like, where am I right now? Like, what planet is this? And I'm like, I think I'm in the wrong room. Like I really, that was my first thought, guys. I was like, I don't know about this. And I'm sitting down, and the first speaker comes on, the second speaker comes on, Grant does his thing. And I was like, oh, this is an entrepreneur conference. This isn't whatever I thought it was. This is not. And so I'm really soaking in. I'm really taking it in. And behind me is this guy, Russ Yeager. And the year prior, Russ had won this pitch off. I didn't know this at the time. And so they show a video of him. I'm like, oh, that's cool. That's the guy I met yesterday. And they were like, if you want an opportunity to pitch off your business to Grant Cardone, join this program, blah, 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 blah. I was like, cool, I'll do that. Well, the time comes and the submissions come up. And I was like, as long as I make the top 10, I know I will win. Like, I believe that in my soul. Like, no matter what happens, if I make the top 10 of this, I will win. Nothing can stop me. Well, I get the email. You made the top 10. Congratulations. I was like, cool, I already won. Guys, let me tell you something really, really, really important. There is a fine line between hubris and confidence, and they often get muddied. And I muddy them a lot in my life, because if you don't believe in yourself, who will? And so I'm right, bet I'm going to go win this no matter what happens. And we get up there, we're live in front of 10,000 people. And Grant changes the time on us. So we're all under the assumption that we have 5 minutes to do this thing. And Grant comes up and, you know, he's his Grant laugh. He goes, how much time do these guys get? And Jared tells him 5 minutes. Grant goes, no, they get 1 minute. And people's faces like went white, like shit, they're terrified. And Jared's like, no, dude, no, we can't do that. And Grant says, give him 2 minutes. And he says, who wants to go first? I raise my hand so fast, my freaking arm comes out of socket. And I'm like, dude, you guys have to understand something. If you want success in your life, you have to go first. Do not wait. Do not hesitate. He who hesitates is lost. This is the nature of the game. So I raise my hand and Grant goes, all right, you know, people who say they're ready aren't ready. And he does his Grant thing trying to mess with me. I got this nose ring in, right? This gold nose ring. Had it for a very, very long time. He goes, hey man, you got something in your nose. I go, cool, I'll get it later. I'm not going to let him get me off my game. I go up, I crush it. He does a mic drop. I know immediately I've won. And the next like 7 people crash and burn. Like it's actually like a train wreck because I crushed the room so hard. I'm dead serious. You can watch the video. It's incredible. But it all came from this idea of me going, I know that I can do this. I believe that I can. I believe so confidently because I've been speaking at this point for 7 years. Two people in a room, 12 people in a room, 200 people in a room, 500 people in a room, 1,000 people in a room, again and again and again, 0 people in a room. I did a webinar one time, nobody even came, right? And so it's like I have been in those rooms before. So I said to myself, all right, great. There might be thousands of people submitting, but I'm going to win. And you just have to believe in that. And that moment for me, like, I reflect on it a lot because it's built up an incredible community in my life. It's given me the ability to say Grant Cardone invested in my business, which nobody really ever gets to say. It gets me the ability of being able to say I'm one of the best speakers on planet Earth, right? And so there's a lot that comes with it, but you guys saw that short snippet of time. You didn't see the 7 years of pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. And guys, I'll tell you this right now. You can have anything that you ever want in your life as long as you don't give up. And that moment continued and does still solidify that belief in me.
Yeah, I love that. Before I pitch it back to Jacob, I definitely want to make a point on, you said something earlier. You wrote this blog that nobody read. The reason you can articulate your thoughts and communicate with a way that moves people emotionally, that's the grind, right? It was those years writing and doing the things. It's doing the work that nobody they feel the effects of it, but they didn't see it happen, right? So I think that it's important to point out because there's maybe some folks on this call right now that are in that spot. They're just they don't feel like they're being, that the audience is responding or that there's visibility to the work that they're doing. But that doesn't matter because this is their mastery. This is their path to mastery. And you can't skip the line, right? Yeah. Those 7 people that spoke after you, they didn't grind and write for those many years to be able to and know that who they were standing across and what Grant was trying to do. And you were able to see through that, stay focused and execute, right? So many lessons, man. I love it. Yeah, I love it. Jacob.
And Eric, maybe part of that too is my background, man. Like I've lost my 3 best friends. They've been murdered. I had guns in my face as a kid. Like I stole food to survive. I sold drugs. I broke into houses. I got shot up by the cops. I've been in handcuffs more times than I can count. Bro, I ain't worried about Grant Cardone like that. You know what I'm saying? And it's like people have to understand, like, you know, we are all humans. We are all humans. We all are fallible. We all make mistakes. We all are going to have really good days and really bad days. And you have to recognize, like, no matter how successful someone is, they are simply a peer of yours. They may be a step in front of you, but they're just a peer. And so if you remember that and you step into these situations from a human perspective, you recognize the truth. Like, nobody is more important or better or special than you. And that's the thing that people fail to understand when they get around people who maybe they're successful. It's like, bro, you're just a human. Like, we go through the same shit all the time.
Yep. Hey, Jacob, you always do. You may have some other questions, but you always have some sort of promotion. You always have some sort of offer for the folks who attend these webinars for tickets. Can you drop that real quick?
Yeah, for sure. We're actually doing the premier ticket, which is $12.97 pre-sale. Pretty soon it's going to go to $19.97, but we're actually going to offer it to you guys for $9.97 for being on the webinars with us today. So all you guys have to do, Gabe's going to drop a link into the chat right now, but all you have to do is go to that link and put in the code Undercover, and you guys could get that premier ticket for $9.97. Come see Michael. We have a bunch of amazing other speakers, as you can see on the graphic here. Elena Cardone has just committed yesterday, so that's pretty freaking awesome. A lot of cool people. Stick around for these webinars too, because we keep introducing all of our speakers this way. But if you share, Matt actually put in the chat before he left, he said, if you guys share the link to get on these webinars and prove it, send us a message and show us, we'll enter you into to win a free ticket. So go ahead and share this with everybody. Make sure that we get, you know, a lot of people aware of this thing, and we'll put you in the enter to win. But anyone could go claim that offer right now, $9.97 for a premier ticket. Use the code Undercover, the link in the chat. I do want to answer Mary Glenn's question. Mary Glenn's up here, and let me know if you guys have any other questions about boot camp as well. Mary Glenn, bringing you up. Mary Glenn, you're on.
You hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hey, can you hear me?
We can. We got you.
Okay, just a moment. All right, cool. Also, I hope, can you see me?
We can see you. Well, we could.
Yeah.
Let's see.
All right, awesome. So first of all, thank you for, like, I feel like being among like people with that frequency and that mentality. And thank you, Michael, for sharing your stories. I have 2 questions. So the first one, given that you have been through difficulties and you have, especially at a young age, I would like to take like an example of some kids here in Albania. So here in Albania, you might see sometimes on the streets kids begging, like begging for money, or trying to make it. They are obviously from poor families. They might have like social issues and family issues. So let's say you would like pass through that traffic light or through that street, and you would meet some of those kids begging there. What would be like your advices to them?
Yeah, dude, that's an amazing. Let me tell you something. I have been interviewed probably 600 times. No one's ever asked me a question like that. So thank you for that. I actually really, really love that.
Thank you. And after that, I have another question.
Yep, we'll get that too. I in my truck, I keep $100 of $1 bills in my truck. If anybody ever steals my truck, they're going to get $100. But there's in my center console, there's $100, and every single time I come across somebody on the corner who's a child or who looks young, like I give them money, because there's twofold to it. Because A, I understand that place, where you literally don't have a penny to your name, where you have to go and do things that are unbecoming, that shatter your pride. I mean, bro, I literally had to like go steal food as a kid. I would take showers at the gym at my school. We didn't have electricity in our house. I'd wear the same clothes all the time. I used to steal clothes from the lost and found. Like, so when I see these kids going through this, man, I'm like, yo, I get it. Now, are some of those kids using that money to go buy drugs? 100%. Are some of those kids using that money to pay for their mom's medicine? Yeah. And so I think that we have to remember societally that just because somebody's on the street doesn't mean that they chose to be there. Some people do. Like, I saw this dude the other day. He said, "Why lie? It's for weed." I was like, bro, I'm not helping you. Like, I'm just not doing that. You know what I mean? And so your integrity as an individual is up to you to determine what you want to do with your money and how you want to spend it. But I just remember that those kids out there are humans, and I used to be one of them.
Yeah, the thing I would add to that, to point out something that Michael said that he said earlier, and Simon Sinek writes a lot about this around, when we have acts of charity, we give money to somebody or give something to somebody, on a street corner like that. That's an emotional transaction, right? We're giving something to them, but there's something we're receiving, right? And Michael spoke about that earlier, is the number one thing, like you want to unpack entrepreneurship, lived experience, purpose, all that kind of stuff. It's really here to serve and help other people, right? And we're in this thing together. That sense of equanimity, right? What's good for you is what's good for me, and really like believing in that deeply to your core. And so in those situations, there is definitely a transaction that's taking place, but honoring that in a way of like, hey, like, yes, I'm giving something without expectations. I'm not here to control what you do with the money. I'm just here to give to you. Right. So I love that. And I love the question as well, Marigon. So you got a second one, go for it.
Yeah, if I am allowed. My second question it is, so I saw in your YouTube you had done a lot of interviews and actually watched some of them. And I saw that also you had interviewed Tom Bilyeu. So my question is like technical, how did you achieve to approach him, like to pitch him and to persuade him to be on your channel?
So I will say that I'm at a bit of an advantage, particularly with him, because I've known Tom now for going on 7 years. And what I will tell you is that the first time I asked him to be on my podcast, he said yes. Now, you would think that his wife, Lisa Bilyeu, the incredible Lisa Bilyeu, would be as easy to come on my show. Anyone who's followed me on social, I've posted this. She knows I have. I think it's hilarious. I had to connect with her and her team 37 times over 6 months to get her on my show. And her husband, I've known for 7 years, right? And so here's the thing, man. Not everybody is going to be the right fit for your show. Not everybody wants to do your show. Not everybody's going to connect with you. No, for me, no does not mean no. Contextually, let's be very clear about that. No means not right now, wrong time, kids are sick, dog's in the hospital, I'm not feeling good, I'm on travel, I'm schedule. But you have to bring something to value for people when you're requesting their time. And here's what's really interesting. When you go look at a lot of the people who have been on my show, I mean, we're talking about Tom and Lisa Bilyeu. We've had Matt on the show. We've had John Lee Dumas, Anna Lamke, Dr. Gabor Mate, Tim Story, the coach to all the celebrities. We've had, rest in peace, Dave Hollis, Anthony Trucks, Ken Jocelyn. We've got all these people who've been on this show over the years. And the one thing that I always get to do for them that I get to say with truth is I'm going to give them an interview they've never had before. I had Amy Porterfield, who's incredible. She used to work for Tony Robbins. She's built a multi-million-dollar online company. Everyone in marketing knows Amy Porterfield. Amy Porterfield and I did not talk business. That has never happened one time in her interviews. And at the end, every single one of these people, they tell me the same thing. That was one of the best interviews I've ever done. Now, here's the reason why. I am studious about this craft. I watch interviews and podcasts and TED Talks and people on stages like everybody watches television shows. Bro, I don't even know what's on TV because my shit stays on YouTube. Like I watch Oprah, I watch people who have been doing this for years, like Katie Couric. Like I get deep into this, man. And so you want people to connect with you and come and listen to your show and give you their time. Like the number one thing is you have to recognize time is the only resource I don't get back. So if you ain't on your game, I'm not showing up. Bro, I get messages every day. Will you be on my stage? Will you speak on? No, I won't, because you haven't put in the effort. You haven't shown up. You haven't proven that you're on this game, right? You did 4 podcasts and you're like, Michael, will you come on my? No, I won't. No, I can't do that, man. So if you want somebody, be so good people can't ignore you. That's what Tom taught me. That's what I've been able to do. That's why, I won that 10X pitch off. That's why I judged that competition last month. That's why I'm speaking at the Undercover Billionaire Bootcamp next month. Be so good. People will come up to you in the middle of an event and say, will you come and speak to my audience? Be so good people can't ignore you.
Thank you. I appreciate your honesty.
Yeah, bro, for sure.
For sure. Hey, so on that, resource time is one of those things we can't get back. I want to honor everybody's time, and we got 5 minutes left to close this thing down. So Jacob, you tell me how you want to close this down. I know there's some questions in the chat. If you want to throw them at Michael, quickly, you want to, you got some offer you want to extend. Tell me how you want to lock this down.
Oh yeah, thanks for that. No, I mean, I want to end it with just, thankful and gratitude to Michael for, coming, and everybody in the webinar for showing up and supporting. And yeah, I mean, our best offer right now is that $997, guys. I mean, that's exclusive to everybody who's on here. We're not marketing that to everybody. We also have exclusive pricing that you could call us for if you're a Pueblo resident. We definitely wanted to show love to Pueblo. So if you guys are, Pueblo resident, make sure you give us a call. But that's it, man. I appreciate you, Michael. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for, showing up. What's up, Eric?
No, I was just going to say that on the exclusive, on the offer you have, that's food during the event, right? Lunch. Is that breakout? They get to attend the breakouts?
Yeah.
But they're not, it's not the VIP.
No, so the premier ticket has lunch included. It has the breakout sessions that will be leading, get a special smaller group to where we could do some hands-on activities to help you guys. And it has the workbook, has the pre-party, but not the after party. VIP is going to include dinner with all the speakers. So that's awesome. But that's the VIP ticket there.
Okay, cool.
So you guys just need to go to the link and use Undercover as a promo code to get that.
For sure. Yeah, Michael, dude, Matt, just so you know, because I knew Matt jumped on here and he talked about his time with you. After his time with you, he called me and he's like, dude, this dude's such a good human, like so lucky and fortunate to have him in our ecosystem. And I feel the same way, man. I know we haven't had as much time to connect, but I definitely, there was like a real vibe there. And I know that you are who you say you are. And I love that you're executing. But not only is you're executing and being strategic, you are still, showing up and showing other people the way that you're now that person that's further on down the line, but you're actively looking back to see who you can bring along with you. And I love that, man. It's such a great quality.
Yeah, man, I appreciate that. I love all you guys, man. And thank you to everybody who spent their time here today. I hope that you'll come out to Pueblo because, man, I'm telling you, you could be one conversation away from your life being different.
That's it, man. I mean, that's what our whole show's about, right? That was the whole experience, is you're one relationship away from your life completely looking different, good or bad, right? But what I love about you is you're going to teach people, how to tell the difference, right? Who do you need to be to attract and nurture those relationships that will compound your success, right? So I know that's what you're about. I know that's what you help leaders achieve. You definitely, I love that. I love that. And I'm just excited to have more proximity to you, dude. I wish you so much peace and success as you settle in your new community. And I'm thankful that we get to spend 3 days together, it sounds like. And we're gonna do some good, but we're gonna have some fun.
Yeah, man. Looking forward to it, brother.
For sure. All right, y'all. We'll see you.
And guys,
Thanks,
everybody who's still here, make sure you guys drop in for next week. We have Prada Jones. he knows a lot about personal finance. This guy has some info that you could take home and really change the game on your money situation. So make sure you guys come check that out. You guys all get updates just for being here. So I'll see you guys next week. Thanks, Michael.
Appreciate you and Gabe, man. Thank you guys. See ya.
Awesome. See you everyone. Bye bye.